guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tommy Zamp, and I play guitar and get the let out. And I am currently we're in Austin. We're playing at Austin City Limits tonight. I am beyond excited. I've always wanted to come to Austin. I've been all over Texas. I've played in Houston and Dallas and San Antonio and you name it, Corpus Christi, Laredo. But I've never in my career played a gig in Austin. And not just not played a gig in Austin, I've actually never been to Austin. So I am very excited to be here today. I'm very excited to be playing Austin City Limits live. The history in this building is absolutely incredible. It's bonkers incredible. Being in a Led Zeppelin tribute band and being able to play at a spot like this is incredible. And then also knowing that like Robert Plant performs here amongst everyone else and their brother Willie Nelson, Dolly Parton, Johnny Cash. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So again, it's one of those privileges that I do not take for granted, that I have the opportunity to perform in a venue of such stature, and I'm still confused as to why I'm even here. If I could just stop playing guitar so shitty. But it also kind of made me think about some things that I wish I would have known a little sooner in my career as far as being a player and being out on tour. And so I kind of came up with a list of things that I would say I wish I would have known sooner in a way, or I wish I may have been a little more disciplined on figuring out in my beginning years of playing guitar. But I figured I would go over some of those with you here today. And as you notice, I was playing I was playing the solo for 10 Years Gone from the wonderful band that is Led Zeppelin. And I get to play that solo all the time, and it's definitely one of the more beautiful written solos, and it's cool and it's intricate and it's different, and it took me a little bit to figure it out. And there's a one of the things on my list that I want to talk about. I'm going to get back to how I actually incorporated that into learning that solo, because it is very unique to itself, and it's got a very odd structure to it. But first and foremost, I was playing along with a metronome, and that is something that I think is very important, especially for not just drummers, but for guitar players or any musicians in general, is to have a very have a strong grasp and concept of tempo and time management, and feel for the rhythm itself, because not everything is set in stone. Even though the meter might be set in stone, you still might want to have that ability to kind of flow in and out while still staying in time, but you're not coming in. You know what I'm saying? And maybe you don't, and I should be better at explaining myself, but there is there's being in time and being exactly on the money, and then there's being in time with the feel. So, and that's something that working with a metronome helps you out. So just being able to flow in and out of being in time. So take 10 Years Gone for example. That the first hit, it comes in on a 3, and what I mean by that is, listen, we got 1 2 3 4 1 2. You hear that? 3 4 1 2. So I hope you're kind of understanding where I'm getting at, but you can flow in between the beats. You know what I mean? So you don't have to be exactly stuck to it, especially if you're doing like a lead line. So if you want to do something a little more rhythmic, say you want to just do a simple blues jam, like a So if you're doing something like that, that's when you want to be a little more stringent and kind of be right on the money. If you're doing a lead line like a something like that, you can have a little bit more give, and there's a little more freedom to move around because everyone else is laying down the foundation for you to basically just have fun over it, you know. So number one, I'd have to say would be using a metronome and working on your tempo, working on your meter, and trying to get your internal metronome to be as steady as possible. Not at certain exact tempos or BPMs, but just your internal rhythm that you can just do this, and you could do this for 5 minutes and be pretty steady. You know what I'm saying? All right, great. Let's move on to number 2. So here's a big thing. Everyone talks about the cage system, and some people are very confused by the cage system. Some people overthink the cage system. To be honest with you, learn all your chord shapes in the shapes of C, A, G, E, D. That's primarily where we're going with this. And what I mean by that is take caged, the first letter is C. So there's your C chord, right? How do you play your D in that position? Well, it would be here, right? But you'd have to bar that over. So there you go. That's that position. Here's your root note. You're in D. There you go. If you want to go back to C, now it's just coming along and knowing once you figure that out, now you can play a D there. Where else can you play a D? Well, let's do it in the A position, right? So you have your A chord, right? You play it like that. A couple different ways. Move that up till it's a D. That's your D in your A position, right? Okay, so now where else can you play your D? Well, in your open, you can play it there. How about your E position? So play E. Where's this going to be a D chord? It's going to be up here on the 10th fret, following your roots around, right? So these are just things that you can do, and it helps you out knowing all the chord shapes that you can get. So if you want to, and it starts over. You want to play D there, different inversions, you know, all these different shapes. You can do it, and just kind of knowing all of the chord shapes across the fretboard, but you need to know where your root notes are. That kind of helps out. That's E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. No, whoops. E. How about that? See? I made a mistake. Who cares? So knowing your fretboard and knowing the notes, and a simple trick is there's your root note, skip the next string, go down there and move up 2 frets. There you go. E, E. Same thing. If that's G, skip a string, go up 2 frets. That's G. So that's something, that's a way a lot of people figure it out, and you can just do octaves that way. And the same goes for the 5th string. If that's A, skip a string, go up 2 frets, that's A. So little tricks of the trade like that can kind of help you acquire all the notes on the fretboard quickly. So when someone's like, what note is that? You can go, oh, that's an E, F, B flat. So you'll be able to kind of figure out, knowing where you're at across the fretboard, looking for certain notes. If someone said, hey, I need you to play a C sharp, you can do that move. You can actually do this move. And say, which one, man? So those are little tricks, knowing your chord shapes, kind of having an idea of what the cage system is, and knowing the notes across the fretboard. Those are things that'll help you improve your playing. One of the things that I wanted to talk about, and that I mentioned earlier, is practicing the song or the part that you're playing without the band, without the metronome or any backing track, And especially when it comes to having space, playing that in your head helps you in situations where your monitors go down or your in-ear system craps out and you don't know where you're at, but you can feel the beat, so you know essentially where you are in the song. It helps you to stay focused and stay in track and in line where you're at. So for instance, um, if we wanted to take 10 Years Gone at the very end of the solo, let me see if I can all right, so the last little lick is ever really want somebody. Da-da-da. Do 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 do. Da 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 da. Doing something like that and knowing in your head, without anything else being played, knowing exactly where you are without any other sort of auditory helping reference. So that's kind of what I'm getting at. Is to just be as familiar with the material as possible. I remember reading an article years ago that I always thought was pretty interesting when Guns N' Roses were on tour. That like sometimes Axl wouldn't show up or he didn't come out on stage, so the band actually performed the songs with no vocals. But that's because everyone knew where they were in the song. So that you need to know the material like inside and out, like the back of your hand, and it just helps you become more comfortable with it while you're up performing in front of people. So trust me, sometimes when there's like, a few thousand people staring at you and then your ears go out, it can send you into a little spiral. It's definitely a little intimidating because now people are looking at you going, don't mess up, man, but they're just enjoying the show, but in your head you definitely get caught up. Let's see, what else do I have? So also knowing the songs inside and out. Here's another tip. Where are we at? We did the metronome, the chord shapes, practice your song without a backing track. So we're on number 4, right? Okay, so number 4. Wouldn't you want to be the one that comes through and saves the day if something happens on stage and someone's gear bombs out and all of a sudden you're the other guitar player in the band's rig just dies in the middle of a set, and it just happens to be a part that you're not playing, or you are playing but you can play both parts at the same time. So for instance, this has happened a couple times, and it's no dig on your other bandmates. It's just being there because things happen. You play so many shows every year that you're on stage and the gear just gives out eventually. You need to do maintenance, you need to do upkeep, but sometimes, tubes blow, amps blow a fuse, maybe there's just, gremlins and frequency issues in wireless packs. So it's never a dig on your other bandmates, but what you should be doing is also learning their parts. That's the key. Learning the other players' parts as well. Because this has happened. Where I don't play any guitar parts in when we play the Ocean. I just play the lead lines, but I also don't come out during the first verse until the oohs come in and I do some background vocals. So I'm side stage, and all of a sudden, I hear Derek count off. We've done 4 already, but now we're steady, and then they went 1, 2, 3, 4, and all I hear is boom, 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 boom. Bum 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 bum. Immediately, obviously, there's something wrong with the other rig. There's a frequency issue. Maybe there's another pack on. Maybe his pack died. Things happen. I can be on the side stage going. I can work that all out until he gets his stuff straightened out. And he's done the same thing for me. Hammond's done the same thing. Actually, in 10 Years Gone, I was just playing that part earlier. This Purple Telly actually had a dirty pot. And I went out, and that section in the beginning where it's just me, and it's going. was all crackly, and it was just, and I couldn't get it to clean up. So that sounds bad. Hammond knows that part, and he picked it up and gave me enough time to switch guitars with John to come out with my other Telecaster and proceed to pick up where the song was. So you're dropping out of a song, your bandmate is covering you while you're getting your gear situation figured out, and then you're coming back in on the song, not where you left off, but where you need to be as the song has been playing and progressing through. So that leads back to those other things that I was talking about earlier, knowing the material inside and out. So where you can come in at any point in time in the song and be able to perform and do your gig and kick ass and continue to have fun and not freak out and lose your mind. Because again, if you freak out and lose your mind, everyone's going to see that. Your band's going to feel it, because even if they don't see you, they're going to feel your tense playing your part. You know what I mean? At least I can feel when other players are like, you can hear it in vocals, you can hear it in like the tightness, and like they're playing it different, and they're not being as loose as they should be. You want to keep a nice easygoing flow through the whole song, through the whole set. And even if there's like little mishaps here, if Hammond's guitar goes out and I pick up bam bam ba da bum, it's no big deal. He comes in, I back off, and he takes from there. So working together as a band, working together as friends, and just making sure that you got your boys back or your girls back in the band. Just be that person, man. Be that person that can save the day if needed. Just be ready, overly prepared goes back to what I was saying in some other videos about, making sure that you have like a backup set of strings or like extra cables and some 9-volt batteries in your bag, because I'm telling you, don't take my word for it. Talk to any other musicians that have been doing this for their whole life. It's called Murphy's Law, also known as shit happens. So like, whatever you can do to kind of be prepared to deal with the shit when it happens, you'll be better off for it. Trust me. Okay, so number 5. The most important thing that I wish a lot of people would I wish this might be the most important, is because procrastination is the killer of any sort of creativity, any sort of enjoyment. And the procrastination of not doing something because you're waiting for the right piece of gear is one of the stupidest things that I keep hearing. Like, oh man, I can't wait to do this, but I need this pedal, or I need this amp, or I need this guitar, or I need to get this piece of gear, and I can't do it until I do this. You would be surprised how often I hear this. Use the gear that you have and make it work, and make it yours, and make it you, and write the song that you want to write on the guitar that you have, on the piano that you have, on the keyboard. Make the YouTube videos with the camera that you have, with your phone, with your dad's old Polaroid, and just stick a bunch of pictures together and then somehow make it work. Like, be creative enough, and if you're determined enough to make something happen and you really want to do it, don't let something as foolish as like, oh, I want to wait till I get the right thing to make it work. Use what you have. If you have a shitty noisy fuzz pedal and the song that you want to write has a fuzz part, use that shitty noisy fuzz pedal and make it work. Try different things. Try putting it in the front of your signal chain. Try putting it at the end. Put it through an effects loop. Use all of your options that are available to you, and don't put something off because you're waiting for the right piece of gear. I hear it all the time, and it's really disappointing, because I just wish people would understand that when you have a moment, and you're, especially when you're writing or you're recording, having that moment is so special, because it's fleeting. I mean, at least for me, in my brain, if I'm like, if I have an idea, by the time I get from one room to the other to grab my guitar, 98% of that idea is gone. So like, I have to take advantage of what's going on in my head the minute it's in my head. Once I start writing it out, I'll remember it forever. Like, that's not an issue. But like, capturing that moment and then saying, okay, you know, I want it to be on an ES335 with a Bigsby, but all I have is this Telecaster. No, you're gonna make it work. You're gonna do this move and just try and just try and do it. Just try and make it work and use what you have, and don't wait around for anyone else or any other piece of gear, because it's all up here. And whatever you're writing and whatever you're trying to record is coming from right in here. And as cliche and as cheesy as this is going to sound, that's all you need, man. That's it. That's all you need. So don't forget that. Those are the 5 things that I wish I kind of knew when I was starting off playing guitar. I don't know if this video has been helpful, obviously, because I'm sitting here in my dressing room in Austin talking to a camera. But if you're at home and you're watching this and it's inspired you in some way, or you enjoyed this, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe. It definitely helps me out, helps out this channel. I'm trying to grow this channel and take you guys on tour with me with Get the Let Out, and to the different venues that we go to across the country. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the video, if you have any ideas or things that you would like me to get into in future tutorials, if you will. But yeah, I hope you are all doing well in the world of YouTube, and as usual, be kind to each other, take care of yourself. I'm Tommy Zamp. I'll see you in the next video.